Hello guys, today I'm going to be talking about strange cases that occurred back in the day. Alright, let's get into it. In 2008, a 19-year-old student named Brandon Swanson was driving home late at night in Minnesota. Around 2 a.m., his car went off the road into a ditch. He was not hurt, so he called his parents and asked them to come pick him up. He told them he could see lights from a nearby town. He stayed on the phone while he walked towards the road. His parents drove to where he said he was, but they could not find him. They flashed their headlights, and he said he could not see them. For almost 50 minutes, Brandon stayed on the phone as he walked. He sounded calm, and then he suddenly said, "Oh crap," after the call ended. His parents tried to call him back. The phone rang, but he did not answer. Police later found his car, but it was far from where he said he was. They searched fields, farms, rivers, and ditches. No signs of Brandon were ever found. No clothing, no phone, no nothing. To this day, no one knows what he saw or what made him react right before the call cut out. The case is still open. Many search teams have tried to solve it, but there will not be a single clear clue yet. It remains one of the most puzzling missing person cases in the United States. Some theories suggest he might have tripped into a river and drowned, as he was on a call with his parents, and the call suddenly went dead with him remarking, "Oh crap." I read somewhere that his father stated he could hear running water, possibly the Yellow Medicine River, where cops searched numerously. Other theories suggest hypothermia. I find it likely that he climbed out the river and continued to walk onwards in the direction he believed was Lint. The bloodhounds did find that trace continued on the other side of that river. There were many fields surrounding the river. He could have collapsed, but how was his body never found? A few theories also suggest that he might have passed out on a farm and was found by the farmer who disposed of him discreetly. He could have passed out on a farm and was accidentally ran over by a farm machinery. Or maybe he wandered into a farm and was murdered by the farmer who was protecting his private property. Despite these theories sounding implausible, the bloodhounds picked up a trace on a private farm and its machinery, but the farmer would not allow such a search. Suspicious much? Maybe Brandon stumbled upon something he shouldn't have. Maybe he saw the farm and went there looking for help. Either way, as the story still says, the case is still open to theories and what could have actually happened to a person named Brandon Swanson. Next case we have up is the disappearance of Maura Murray. In early 2004, a 21-year-old Maura Murray was a nursing student at UMass Amherst. Smart, athletic, disciplined. She had attended West Point before transferring to UMass. On paper, she looked like someone whose life was perfectly on track, but underneath, things were complicated. Maura had recently been involved with a credit card fraud incident, and a few days before she vanished, she had a breakdown at work, so severe that her supervisor had to walk her back to her dorm. She didn't say what was wrong. Something was weighing on her. That afternoon, Maura sent an email to her professor saying she'd be gone for a week because of death in the family. There was no death, no emergency, and no reason to leave. She packed her car with clothes, textbooks, toiletries, and a printed map of New Hampshire. Then she withdrew $280 in cash, bought alcohol, and got in her car. She didn't tell her boyfriend, her family, or her friends. She just left. Maura drove for hours, heading toward the White Mountains of New Hampshire, a place she knew well from family trips. But she didn't book a hotel. She didn't know or tell if anyone was coming. She didn't tell anyone she was coming, It was as if she was running from something, or towards something. At 7:27 p.m., on a dark rural stretch of Route 112 on Haverhill, New Hampshire, Maura's car went off the road and hit a snowbank. This is where the story becomes truly strange. A local man, a school bus driver, saw the crash and stopped to help. He asked Maura if she called the police. She said no. She insisted she had already called AAA, or AAA. But there was no cell service in that area. She couldn't have called no one. The man went home and called the police anyway. When officers arrived 7 minutes later, Maura was gone. Not walking down the road, not hiding in the woods, not in another car, just gone. Her car was locked, her belongings were inside, her footprints led a short distance down the road and then vanished. It was as if she stepped off the face of the earth. Police, dogs, helicopters, and volunteers searched the area. A scent dog tracked Moore's smell for about 100 yards, then it stopped abruptly. This usually means one thing: she got into another vehicle, but no one reported seeing her. No one reported picking her up. No one came forward. Theories. Theories suggest she might have ran away to start a new life. Some believe she planned to disappear, the emails, the cash withdrawal, the sudden trip, but she left behind her phone charger, her makeup, her textbooks, and her entire life. People who run away usually prepare more carefully. Another theory suggests she might have, died in the woods. Temperatures were below freezing. If she wandered in the forest, she could have succumbed to the cold, or maybe died of hypothermia. But after a massive searches, no trace of her was ever found. No clothing, bones, or nothing. Another theory suggests she was picked up by the wrong person. This is the most widely believed theory. She refused to get help from the bus driver. She insisted she called AAA. She seemed determined to avoid police. If someone stopped and offered her a ride, someone who seemed safe, she might have accepted. And if that person had bad intentions, it could explain why she vanished without a trace. Another theory suggests she was meeting someone. The printed map, the sudden trip, the secrecy. Some believe she was going to meet a friend, or a stranger, or someone she knew online, but no evidence of this has ever surfaced. The hole in the timeline. This is the most chilling part of the case. The most chilling part of this case is the 7-minute window. At 7:27 p.m., she crashes. At 7:30, bus driver leaves. 7:37, police arrive. Then Moore is gone. 7 minutes on a freezing night on a rural road with no cell service, no houses nearby, no footprints leading away. 7 minutes is all it took for Maura Murray to disappear forever. Maura has never been found. No confirmed sightings, no remains, and no answers. Her family still searches. Her father still believes she was taken. Investigators still receive tips, but none have led anywhere. It remains one of the most haunting disappearances in modern American history. The last disappearance case is the disappearance of Brian Schaffer. In 2006, a 27-year-old Brian Schaffer was a medical student in Ohio State University. He was smart, funny, and close with his family, especially his father, Randy. But that year had been rough. Just 3 weeks earlier, Brian's mother had died unexpectedly from cancer. Friends said he was devastated, but trying to stay strong. So when spring break rolled around, Brian's friends convinced him to go out for a night of drinking, just a night to relax, clear his head, and feel normal again. It was April 1st of 2006, a warm Friday night, and nothing unusual. Brian and his friend Clint started the night at a bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloon, located in the second floor of a building in Columbus, Ohio. To get inside, you had to take an escalator up to the entrance. And right above that escalator was a security camera, the only one in the entire bar. The camera would become the center of one of the strangest mysterious in modern history. Throughout the night, Brian and Clint bar hopped around the area, eventually returning to the Ugly Tuna around 1:15 a.m. The security camera captured Brian walking up the escalator with Clint. He looked relaxed, normal, and nothing seemed wrong. Inside the bar, Brian talked to two women near the entrance. He smiled, leaned in, and said something to them. Then he stepped slightly out of frame, and that was it. Brian Schaffer was never seen again. Not leaving the bar, not walking down the street, not on any camera, not anywhere. He had simply vanished. When the bar closed at 2 a.m., Clint and another friend walked out for Brian. They never came out. They assumed he had left early and gone home, but when Brian didn't show up for a planned trip with his girlfriend the next day, everyone knew something was wrong. Police pulled the security footage. They watched Brian walk into the bar. They watched every single other person walk out, but Brian never appeared, not once. Police searched the entire building. The bar, the bathrooms, the back rooms, the roof, the basement, the construction areas, the dumpsters, nothing. There were only 3 ways out. The main entrance, covered by a camera. Brian never appeared. The back service door, it was locked and alarmed. If someone opened it, the alarm would sound. No alarm went off. Or a construction exit. This building was under renovation, so there was a possible exit through a construction area, but it was pitch black, full of debris, and extremely dangerous. Police searched it anyway. Brian wasn't there. Police searched hospitals, homeless shelters, abandoned buildings, the river, nearby woods, every camera in the area. Nothing. They even brought in cadaver dogs, no scent and no trace. It was as if Brian had ceased to exist the moment he stepped out of frame. Brian's father, Randy, spent years searching for his son. He put up flyers, talked to followed every lead. In 2008, Randy died in a tragic accident. At his funeral, someone left a message in the online guest book. To Dad, love Brian. I'm alive. The message was traced to a computer in another state. Police determined it was a cruel hoax. But it shows how deeply this case haunts people. A theory suggests he might have left voluntarily. Some people believe Brian walked out through the construction area and disappeared on purpose. But he left his wallet, his car, his apartment untouched. He had a vacation planned with his girlfriend. He was about to propose. This theory doesn't fit well. He might have died inside the bar. Some people believe that Brian accidentally died inside the bar, maybe in a construction area, and his body was hidden or removed later. But the bar was searched multiple times, including by cadaver dogs. Nothing was found. Another theory suggests he was taken out in a way cameras didn't catch. So this is the most popular theory. Maybe he left disguised, he left with someone who shielded him, or he left for a blind spot, or he was forced out through the construction area. But again, no evidence. He never left the building. This is the darkest theory. Some believe that Brian's body is still inside the building, hidden in a wall, ceiling, or construction void. But after 18 years, no remains have been found. Brian Schaffer has still been missing for 20 years. No confirmed sightings, no remains, and no answers. His disappearance is considered one of the most baffling in American history. The true vanished into air case. And